What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Speak of the Madman podcast, podcast 19. Can you believe it, Joey? Podcast 19.
Makes me very happy. Still running strong. Feel really great about this whole thing we're doing. I can't believe we're at 19. I mean, I was thinking about it the other day. 19 is a pretty good amount of episodes we've had. You know, like I said, most podcasts don't make it up to 10. We're almost at 20, and I feel like as strong as ever. So,
yep,
really happy about this, and really, proud of it. So
remember, guys, please remember to like and subscribe here on the Speak of the Madman podcast on YouTube. We're also on Facebook and on the ether somewhere on the TikTok. But yeah, this is podcast 19, and we're dubbing it the Halloween special, which really means that's why I'm dressed up as Eddie Munson, Stranger Things. I basically had everything besides the shirt, so the shirt goes to Hot Topic. I, for some reason, had this cut off Levi's jeans. I have no idea how long this was sitting in my closet. But for some reason I had it. And
I think you look great, man.
Thank you.
I really like the look.
Yeah, I wish I had some time to put some patches on it, but it's just a very plain sweater. But
now, do you have Levi pants too to go along with that?
Somewhere, but I just have the black pants and white shoes.
I thought you were gonna have the Canadian tuxedo going on there, dude.
No, it's too much jean for me.
Too much jean. Well, you know, that's a great. I think you should go with this look. I think it's a great look for you.
Thank you. I'll try, but this vest is very heavy.
Need pins though, dude. Needs patches and pins.
It does. I am surprised. I used to have some. Well, you know, kind of. I'm not gonna say I was a punk guy, but I had a couple of cool punk pins, a couple Misfits ones, Black Flag ones, and I had one I could have sewed. I don't know where it was, and I had two of them. I had a Casualty one, which was for some reason I had that one, and Iron Maiden, which that would have been cool if I still found it.
Those are definitely your normal, patches you would put on your jacket, right?
Yeah, sir, on a battle vest. Actually, let us know if you guys have a battle vest. What do you guys decorate it with? You guys keep it, only metal, only punk, a mixture? I'd love to see those in the comments if you guys rock the battle vests.
Yeah, what do you guys think about that? What are you guys wearing? What are you guys sporting out there? You know what I mean? What are you putting on your jackets out there, okay? Are you mixing it up? Are you putting like metal genre and then you're putting like some emo at the side over here? Are you doing Slayer on the top over here? Or are you just going full-blown metal? Or what are you guys doing out there? You know what I mean? Let us know. Put a comment down below. We really want to know what your getup is. So...
All right. Well, speaking about Iron Maiden, quite coincidentally, a little bit ago, I saw I was on TikTok. Speaking of the Madman TikTok, I was on TikTok and I came on a TikTok from, I believe, the official Iron Maiden TikTok, and they had a guy go over basically the best song of every album they have, and I actually have it here, and actually I might do a review of it, an actual review for the TikTok, so watch out for that one. But I have it pulled up here, so I might stitch it for you youngsters out there. So just a quick overview. So on this list, he claims that I'm just gonna, just so we'll have some on there, but like "Hallowed Be Thy Name," he says, "Hallowed Be Thy Name," the Number of the Beast album. Song like "Aces High," that's my favorite from the Power Slave album. "Blood Brothers," that's actually a good one. And I'm trying to think. There was a song that "Fear of the Dark." Now, he says "Fear of the Dark" from the title "Fear of the Dark" album. That one was a surprise hit where I was listening to it and I'm like, yeah, this song rocks. I really enjoy it. So I'm tributing this episode to Fear of the Dark. So that was my pick to listen to.
Well, Fear of the Dark is a. I always liked that album. It was probably like the last album that I really listened to from Iron Maiden. I think the album came out. We're talking like 1990 or something like that. That record came out, right? But I've always enjoyed that record. Fear of the Dark. Fear of, that's just.
Yep.
I have a constant fear that someone's always there.
Exactly.
That there's a couple songs that I really liked a lot off that album.
But so 1990, you're right. You're right on the nose. 1992, Fear of the Dark.
1990. Did you say 92?
92. Yep.
Oh yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, that's that. Then I think after that, shortly after is when that new singer came on that you were talking about in the last podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, you're right, because it was followed up by the
X-File.
Yeah, I can't even. Yeah, Signal something. I don't remember that name, but yeah, those two albums, the two albums with him, and then followed back to Bruce a few albums later.
God, you know what? This is the first time, I'll be honest with you, that I've actually looked at discography from the Final Frontier on. I had no idea these three records, what their names were until just right now. The Book of Souls and Senjutsu. I had no idea. You know what? They just come out record after record, and I just get stuck with the old stuff. I'll be honest with you, you know what I mean? Like, I do. Do you ever get those guys where you don't want to get the new stuff a chance? Like, you're just like, I don't have the time. You know what I mean? Everybody's jockeying for position out there with music. You know what I mean? Just like your books out there and your shelves. Like, everybody, like, you don't have the time. You know what I mean? And it's like, am I going to listen to Gen Sudo or whatever it's called when I can listen to Power Slave? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or the book. Why am I going to listen to that stuff when I can listen to Somewhere in Time or Peace of Mind? And so, I don't know. It's hard for me to dedicate my time for new stuff, for new music.
So go off what you're saying with that is I remember when Life After, was it A Life and Death, that album came out, because I was like, that was really cool album cover work. Very simple. It's just them on the battlefield with the what do you call that?
A tank.
Yeah, tank. Sorry, a tank. And I listened to it when it first came out. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna listen to the old stuff. But then giving it another try recently, it's pretty good. Just like the Final Frontier.
I mean, I'm sure it's pretty good. Yeah. I mean, I'll give it I'll give it a gander. But yeah, I don't know, dude. I mean, Maiden is like, they're pigeonholed to me in the 80s. That's where they live. You know what I mean?
I mean, no one's going to blame you. I mean, those first few albums, Killers, Number of the Beast, Power Slave, Somewhere in Time, man.
I mean, dude, pretty much all these records from the first one to Fear of the Dark are just like, you're happy to hear any of these records, dude. I don't think there's a weak record in here. All the way to Fear of the Dark. And then after that is where it gets a little choppy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The waves get a little choppy out there, it gets a little, but, and talk about Iron Maiden. Iron Maiden has like the most merchandise out of any other band in the world, dude. I mean, they got like toothbrushes, they got freaking underwear, they got like socks. I think Iron Maiden makes just about anything.
I'll challenge you, but what about the Kiss Army? Kiss Army.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's the one that has the most. I mean, I will agree with you. Iron Maiden is probably up there, but I don't think no one's ever going to beat Kiss.
I mean, Kiss has a Kiss coffin, right?
Yes, sir.
I mean, these guys are just like super merchandise. Who else is there? You got your Kiss, you got your Maidens. Who else? Good Charlotte. Maybe Good Charlotte has a lot of merch, dude, for some reason. I don't know. I always think Hot Topic, and I see their stuff all the time. Who else has a lot of merch? Who else has a crap load of merch?
I don't know about, I mean, I will agree there's probably other bands, but the only two that stick will always be, first off, Kiss, and Iron Maiden,
Oh,
because you're right.
Misfits too.
Misfits
Misfits.
is just pigeonholed with the shirt, but
Yeah.
they do have a lot of cool. I mean, you're right. They do like have, aside from like the typical band stuff like stickers and posters, they do have like little statuesques of the Fiend.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, thanks for bringing up Maiden. You know what I mean? It's like, we've talked about them from here and there, and they're still going strong. I don't know how they do it with all these tours and stuff like that. I don't know how you can even have a family with all these tours. I mean, how do they do that? I don't know how. I'm looking at their resume; it's just ridiculous. And they just keep going. And Bruce is like the Energizer Bunny. You know, he just keeps going and going and going. This dude is like, if you ever go to a live show, man, this guy's running all over the place. I mean, he's doing like 5 miles, dude, on the freaking stage, dude. Just higher in energy. I mean, they are what they are. Iron Maiden is always going to be, Hall of Famers of the metal world, especially Steve Harris on the bass. And, yeah, I mean, unbelievable. I do remember when I read the Slash book. I remember Slash talking about how when they played with Iron Maiden, he didn't like all the gimmicky stuff. He didn't like the freaking Eddie and all that stuff. You know, he didn't like he thought it was just kind of ridiculous.
some people don't. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I think it would be rad. You know, who was it? It was like Alice Cooper, who was known to do really, really great theatrical shows like that, right? Was it Alice Cooper?
Alice Cooper is kind of strange because he's like in a certain spot. I don't know. I don't really hear much of, like, you know him, right?
You know him.
But you know him, but like, do you really know much of his songs? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I know the song 18, right? 18. But and there's like one or two other songs, but like he's another guy. It's kind of like I don't know. It's kind of like maybe like I kind of want to say, I don't want to say cult following, but more of a, I feel like there's a certain group of people that like Alice Cooper, but he's not like, he's not Iron Maiden. You know what I mean? He's not like, it's like he's not, I don't know. He's in a weird place. He's in a weird spot. I've always thought he's in a weird spot, on his own. But whatever, you know what I mean?
I think to sum up what you're saying with Alice Cooper is, I think he's just pigeonholed in that time of the 70s and 80s. After that, you really don't know anything about him.
Yeah, because he's got that "Your Kiss," like, or whatever. Like I love you, but I never dun 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 dun. Your poison. That's a good song. Your poison running through my vein. I just remember that song. That came out like in like 92, dude. I will tell you, Josh, it was great being a teenager in the 90s, bro. I will say that. I am so happy that I was born when I was born, because I think it was perfect for music. Like, to be a teenager in the early 90s, it was just the perfect, all that I can ask for as a musician. It was so much good music. It was so much, 1990, from early 90s, we're talking early 90s, I was 14, you know what I mean, 15. Perfect time for music, man. Perfect for, I don't know if every generation says this, but you had everything there, dude. The early 90s were just perfect for music, right? The grunge came out, and we know about the grunge, you know what I mean? We've talked about it. And it's just, it was a great time for movies too. Movies were just unbelievable in the 90s, right? They've completely fell to the wayside now, I feel like, with movies. I feel like now, I think they look at it as like, we'll do this big production with all this animation and all this side of, because that's what people like. They like all this effects and all this stuff like that. We'll take 2 weeks to do the movie, or 3 weeks to put it together, slap it. We'll get all kinds of money, and done deal, right? No more storylines anymore. No more character development anymore. No more dialogue anymore. No more. You're supposed to have like 3 great scenes in the movie, you know what I mean, that are memorable to make the movie great. None of that. That's completely gone. I feel like these movies are like one-time only movies. Like, what I mean is, you just watch it one time and that's it. You can't watch it again. You know what I mean? There's a lot of those type of movies.
I can't agree with you more, because a lot of these movies, I see them once and they're really cool one time, and I have no interest in watching them. To prove a point, how many times have I watched Empire Strikes Back? A
Right.
ton load. How many times have I watched Indiana Jones, The Lost Crusade, Temple of Doom? Too many times. I've Ghostbusters. I've seen a handful of times. It's like these movies back then, they're just something so special, so raw.
Mhm.
And I'm not saying that there isn't good movies now, because there is. But
Yeah. But
like,
they're one hitter quitters. They're one hitter quitters. You know what I mean? You listen, you know, you watch the movie once, you know the storyline, you get the storyline, and that you know why? Because there's no great. I'll always say it. A lot of these movies, they don't have any great acting. They don't spend any time with the character development. They don't have the great scenes that are memorable. They don't have the chemistry that a lot of movies, like say for instance, Shawshank Redemption, right? One of my favorite movies, right? That movie is like you, no matter where it's playing, when it's playing, I'll watch it. I'll
yep,
watch it because the acting is so good, the storyline is so good, just the little things that they do are so good, that the dialogue is so good. I enjoy. I already know how the story goes, right? I
yep,
already know how
hmm
the story, but it doesn't matter because that's it's the acting, the dialogue, all that stuff is what drives me to watch it, right? But I just don't feel like these new movies have that. They're just so flat with their scenes, man. We're like, what are
there's
the great
one.
scenes, huh?
Yeah, there's few and far between. Like I can name, well, just to add,
Okay.
I was gonna say, like instance, you brought up Shawshank Redemption from that same time period. Jaws,
Yeah, this is a classic movie, dude.
like
Um,
it's still being studied in film school, because if it had the first, I forgot the term is now, but it was when they were doing a zoom in pan, where it was like, now they have programs and to do that. Back then they actually had to physically do that, and it had such a raw feel to it. And it's like, still, like I said, still one of the best movies I ever created. You can watch it now, and it's still up with the times,
you
and
know,
it's
with
great.
with Jaws, too, I remember just so memorable the posters. The
Yep.
posters, you know what I mean, from part one,
And
part
it was
two.
super simple.
It was super simple, but it was very memorable.
Yep. I
You
just
know what I
remember the
mean?
big old jaws, and then just having a little surfboard, the little in the boat, right?
And just your like imagination of what's going to happen there, right?
And all it says is Jaws. All it says is Jaws.
And it's so effective, right?
Yep.
I mean, it's just like really quick. We're talking on the '90s, right? We're stuck on the '94. I mean, right next door on the corner, we're talking Pulp Fiction, right? I mean, Pulp Fiction came out. I want to say '95, was it or not? No, I'm sorry, '94. I think maybe it came out. Um, if we could get a little check, see when did Pulp come? I think it was like '94. I want to say '94. '94. Okay, so Pulp came out in '94, and I always notice too that people either love the movie or they hate the movie. You have a group of people that don't like. My dad didn't like the movie. He didn't get it. He thought it was ridiculous. And then you have like people like me who it's like that's like probably my top three favorite movies. It has to be because there's no other movie like it. It's one
Yep.
of a kind. The way it works. I love every movie. That's a movie that I can watch no matter where it's at
Mm-hmm.
because it's the dialogue is just it's so hilarious too because of the way Quentin Tarantino did that movie where he's just talking about a lot of stuff that doesn't. It's like say for instance the Vincent thing in the beginning. They're going to go. They want to go get the suitcase and they're going to kill the guy. They're talking about foot massages. You know what I mean? It's like the chemistry of that. Like they're talking about trivial stuff. Two hitmen,
Yep.
and the back and forthness of the two are like the chemistry of them is just so perfect with
And,
them
and
too. You know what I mean?
and the joke and the
And
joke.
the jokes. And then he's like, "Oh, it's not time yet." Then they go walk away. And there's a long shot, and then he goes to the end, and then he starts to they start to go more and more. Okay, it's time now, and then they go. It's just like there is no other movie like it, man.
Well, I was gonna say the joke that I always remember from it was
Yeah,
what do you call what is it? Man,
Royale with cheese.
no, what do you call a quarter pounder with cheese in France? It was like what a royale with cheese.
Royale with cheese. What do you call a
Mm-hmm.
Big Mac? I don't know. I didn't go to McDonald's. But didn't he say that? Is that what he says? The Big Mac
Yeah,
or something like that.
it's funny because yeah, I love Big Mac because yeah, I love Big Mac and love Mc. Yep. But it's funny because it's like, see, that's a memorable scene. That's a scene that I remember watching that stuck in my head. So when you say that movie, I remember that scene because I thought it was funny, and I watched it when I was a little kid. I didn't really understand it. Then I watched when I was older, and I'm like, yeah,
Oh,
this movie is a genius.
that see, that's well, you just brought up a great point. There's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of movies when you're young, you don't get a lot of stuff, and then
Mm-hmm.
when you're older, you get it, and you're just like, wow, this is really a great movie. You know what I mean? All these parts that I missed, I didn't know what was going on. But Pulp Fiction, I mean, it's got so many good scenes in that whole movie. Vincent Vega, the character, um, the way he talks, he's very intelligent. You know the way how he talks, and he does like when he's in the bathroom, with Mia and all that stuff like that. He wants to get with her, but he's like debating about it. You know what I mean? And he's talking to himself and stuff like that. I mean, that. I mean, there's so many good parts of that movie. The whole you can't forget what's his name too, Lance. You know what I mean? The drug dealer. Um, but and then all those little parts, you know what I mean? I think if you put all the parts, isn't the last part like where they drive off with the motorcycle, Bruce Willis? Is that the very last part of the movie actually? Because it's all over the place. I think that's the last part, isn't it? The part where they drive off with the motorcycle when they.
I remember them returning back where it all started, but in the restaurant. But you're right. I think that is.
Yeah, remember that when he's honey bunny, it's not whose motorcycle is this? It's not a motorcycle, baby. It's a chopper. Whose chopper is it? Zed. Who's Zed? Zed's dead. I mean, that whole part right there. That part where you have the gimp and all that stuff like
Mhm.
that. That whole part, right? That whole scene, dude, is unbelievable. The whole scene, you know. So yeah, Pulp Fiction is definitely it's in my top three. Definitely, you got the good, the bad, and the ugly. You have Pulp Fiction, and then the third one probably Rocky or something like that. Um, but I don't know. What's your top three? You got the top three right off your head right now? Can you
No,
give me your top three? Come on, Josh.
I can't. Well, I truly can't because I don't really look at movies like that. But movies that I've always enjoyed watching that I can always go back to. Um, like I said, it had to be Empire Strikes Back. That was my first favorite movie. Going back when I was a little kid. Probably I'm trying to one of the Indiana Jones I really enjoyed. But even that first one was really good. But I'm trying to think real fast because it was kind of on the spot. But movie that I did when I was in film school or pseudo film school um, was Mad Max Fury Road. Have you watched that one?
Mad Max. You talking about the '80s one?
No, the Fury Road.
Did
The
that
one.
when did that come out?
Oh god, like now probably 2015 or maybe 14, but it was early mid
Really?
aughts, yeah, and it was really good. And
You're
like
telling me that?
how it was shot and the cinematography, the colors used was just and the props, the whole settings of it was just amazing.
Really?
Yeah,
So you're
go
telling
watch it.
you're telling me one of your big hitters is something that came out 8 years ago?
If
Wow.
you have to, I guarantee, if you watch it, you'll like it because if you like cinematography, go and watch that one because it's awesome. Mad Max Fury Road, I'll get the details. 2015, yeah, there 2015.
Fury Road. I didn't see
Yeah,
that one. I didn't see that one.
yeah, it's awesome movie. But even going back a little bit earlier, maybe 2008 or 7, No Country for Old Men. That's always been one of my favorite movies.
Oh yeah, you've talked about that one. Yeah, you like the quarter liquor store scene.
The quarter scene. Yep.
Yeah, you've talked about that. I remember that.
So that those two movies in the last few years, and then one recently. I don't know about recently, but I think those movies kind of have the old way of like, let's make it memorable. You know, No Country for Old Men wasn't expensive to make, but I think it was just the storytelling with the characters and just the atmosphere, the setting of it was what made it important. Like it was cold, it was distant, and it made you really think like, oh, what's going to happen now? And the pacing of the movie was just really awesome.
I,
And
I, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Wow, that's amazing.
yeah, and like I said, the Furry Road too, like the cinematography, the colors. When I say colors, I'm saying um like the overexposure because they're in a desert area, the car scenes, the race across the desert in their cars, like any typical Mad Max movie, but it was just off the charts. So those two movies, and without getting too sociological, I did a paper about it, and my main paper was how the main character was Charlize Theron, and the secondary character was like their pseudo Max. Well, his name was Max, and he was played by Tom Hardy, and how the main character ended up being the woman, Charlize Theron's character, and she was basically kind of like out machoing Max, because half the time he couldn't really do anything because he was chained up or hurt. So she kind of had to take on the lead.
Mhm.
But I think it was just a very cool dichotomy of like kind of role reversing. But it made it to where it didn't feel like it was pushed on everyone. It felt part of the story, and the story was basically that this guy, the bad guy, he had a harem of women, and he had these girls who were basically his next wives. They escaped. The girl, the I forgot her name, which is bad of me, but Charlize Theron's character kind of helped them escape, and it was kind of cool because it wasn't just a traditional man, saving them, but it was a woman who was a badass in her own right. So I think it was very important, and that's what I wrote about.
Hmm. Well, that's definitely a story that I think that the school would like. um, you know, because you don't honestly, dude, to be honest with you, we talk about movies, you talk about actors, it's like we don't really talk about actresses very often. You know what I mean? And I remember it's been brought to my attention when I was going to school, like who are all the great actresses, who are all the great women of our time, most influential women, and it's something that doesn't really get talked about.
Mm-hmm.
And it should. You know what I mean? It should, because it should matter if you're male, female, whatever. It's like, but we just, I don't know. It's in our culture. Ever since we were young, it's always like, who's your favorite actor? You don't say like, who's your favorite actress first, and it's kind of funny how that works that way, because it should just be who's your favorite actor or actress, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's always like like right now, it's like, who's my favorite actress right now? I mean, should I have to really think about that?
Oh, mine's Margot Robbie.
Margaret Robbie?
Margot Robbie. She's the one that plays Barbie. I haven't seen the movie yet, but I liked all of I liked her as Harley Quinn in the Suicide and the Batman movies.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, Harley Quinn, the Suicide Squad, basically. She was in that. What is it? I can't think of the name now. Wolf of Wall Street, right? Is she in Wolf of Wall Street?
Yeah, I've seen that. But, Leonardo DiCaprio, I don't know, he's kind of obnoxious to me. I don't like, he's kind of like, he reminds me of kind of like the Rudolph Valentino, you know what I mean, of today's time. Um, You know, you just get, you know what it is, dude? Is because back when I was in high school, I liked this girl, and we went to go see Titanic, and it was like the worst movie you can take. I could have took her to because she just went gaga goo goo over freaking um, DiCaprio, and it was just lame, dude, for me. And I remember that from day one. I remember that, you know, it was like, Jesus, man. Anyways, for a woman, I don't, you know, I'd have to really think about that one, honestly.
Well, since this is kind of our half-wit style of our Halloween, do you have any Halloween movies? Halloween favorite movies?
Well, I've always really enjoyed Friday the 13th movies. I mean, I've always liked those. I always liked, especially back when I was growing up, you know, you didn't have all the internet and stuff like that. So a lot of that stuff was very mysterious,
Yep.
which made it better, the movie, because you don't know who these people are, what's going on here. You don't have see, today, the problem is we have too much information. We have too much information. We know behind the scenes what's going on. We know the people. We know the director, the movie. You know, back in those days, you don't really know as much, and it makes it better because the movie's more mysterious. It's kind of the same thing with like wrestling. You know what I mean? It's mysterious. Now we know too much. We know too much about what goes on, the business, and it ruins it, right? And the same thing with Friday the 13th. Back then, I remember when I was a kid, I was really scared, man. It would trip me out, like watching those movies. You know what I mean? I would watch them, but I would get real scared. And I always liked Friday the 13th more than Freddy. I remember, Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yep.
I think that was probably my favorite horror one is the Friday the 13th. I always just really liked the music. You know what I mean? I like that. I think his name is Henry Mancini, who did the music for that stuff. I just always thought it was perfect, the type of music. It was really, I just really enjoyed that. Yeah, I mean, I like, I'm trying to think what part. I like the one with Dudley from Different Strokes. Remember the little black, he's the little black kid, Dudley. He was in Different Strokes. And he comes out, and I think he's in part 4 or part 5 of Friday the 13th.
I'm trying to find it right now.
His name is from Different Strokes.
It's not Gary Coleman, right?
No. His name was Dudley, I think his name was.
Oh, I see him right here. Yeah, it says part 5. I don't know.
I think is it part of 5? Anyways, he's like they're like in a house or something like that, and he's there, and I think that's probably one of my that's the one where it's not Jason, it's an impersonator who's playing Jason, and he's going on and killing people, right? That's a good one. And part 6, Jason Lives is a really good one that I like too.
Because I know the first one wasn't Jason. It was, a spoiler if you haven't seen it. Obviously, it was his mom, but it was the second one that had Jason. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, I think isn't the guy one where he's driving a car or something like that? He's driving a Jeep or something like that, like in the early one. But yeah, those movies.
But you. Like you said earlier in this podcast, like you grew up in a great time. You grew up, I mean, you're, a little younger, but the slasher era of the slasher flicks with the Halloween, Michael Myers, the Jason, Freddy, man, how was the movie theaters back then? They must have been freaking out. Obviously movie like Exorcist too.
Yeah. Well, first of all, the movies were, a lot cheaper back then. One thing, but back then you would go to like 3 movies. They remember they 2 or 3 movies you'd watch at one scene. Now it's just one movie. But
I think they're called double feature.
You would have double features and even triple features sometimes back then. I'm trying to remember if I saw Friday the 13th with my parents. I don't think they ever took me to that.
Was it a movie theater or was it drive-through?
No, movie theater. Both.
Okay.
We went to both. And give it up to those drive-ins that's still out there.
Driving.
I think Vineland's one that's out there still. But yeah, I don't remember going to see Friday the 13th in the theater. But I don't remember if we've seen any horror movies in the theater. I can't recall. Did you?
Well, I wasn't alive back then, but no, but that time for movies was, as you said in the intro of this conversation, was there was no internet. There was, no way. So what you got, you didn't know what you were going to expect. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, it was really rad. That's the point I wanted to bring home, is that, it was different back then. You know what I mean? It was better when it came to movies, when it came to, stuff like wrestling. You know what I mean? Wrestling's another thing where, you're not sure if it's real or fake, or what's real or fake. You're not sure what's going on. And that's what makes it so great. You know what I mean? That I grew up in an era too, where wrestling was like on its top. It was like its most prime, where it was doing the best, like late 80s.
Yeah, so you got in time coming from like the kind of that time of like the 80s, where it was like kind of the cartoony stuff, where like a lot of character base driven, and then it started morphing into, Hulkamania, and he took over. Yeah. And then the 90s came, WCW, and that kind of changed everything.
Yeah, I kind of got out of it at that time. I was watching wrestling about 87 to like 1990. And that was like probably the biggest time of wrestling, I would think. You know what I mean? That's when Hulk and Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah, they're calling it the rock and roll 80s because,
Yeah, wrestling, I can't tell you how much I loved wrestling when I was a kid. I absolutely I remember my dad took me to one wrestling. It was over at the Sports Arena in LA, and I got to see Dino Bravo wrestle. I don't know if you know Dino Bravo, the Canadian. He was actually he was actually murdered, but he was in the mafia or something like that. And he was actually assassinated. But I got to see him wrestle at the Sports Arena. He's the only wrestler that I remember that was, maybe I think Tito Santana was there too. But I got to actually go as a kid to go see wrestling, which I don't think a lot of kids got to do. My dad took me to that, and I always remember that. And then my parents used to always take me. They used to have that short circuit screen, for WrestleMania. They would have like you can go down to the Sports Arena. They had the big screen out there. I remember my parents took me to a couple of those, which was really cool. Was able to watch like WrestleMania. I think I saw the Hulk Hogan with Ultimate Warrior, where Ultimate Warrior, where Hulk passes the reins over to Warrior, and he wins the championship, the heavyweight championship or whatever, the world champion. I think Ultimate Warrior. I think he was it. No, I'm thinking about Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant. Where he picks him up, and he actually
that's WrestleMania. Yeah, WrestleMania 3.
WrestleMania 3. He actually hurt his back trying to pick up Andre the Giant. I remember, but that was like the glory days of wrestling. WWF, not this WWE stuff. WWF, and then I remember every Saturday they would show. Oh, I don't remember what day it was, but they would show like all the jobbers. Like it would just be nothing but jobbers. Like, building up the superstars or whatever like that. And it would be the jobbers, and that's all they'd give you. And then they would show Saturday Night Live. Like they would do that like one Saturday a month.
Yeah, Saturday main event.
Saturday main event, you would actually get to see good matches. I remember, because you're so used to the jobbers, and then they actually give you like you would see Hulk Hogan or like the Genius or something like that fight, or you would actually get some good matches. And I always remember Jesse Ventura. He would do the announcing with McMahon.
Yep, McMahon. Yep.
And it's so cool how Jesse, he was going to be the bad guy, you know what I mean? And that he's always talking trash to McMahon and all that stuff like that. They weren't sure how that was going to go. Actually, I read about that, to have a heel be an announcer.
Well, it ended up working. It ended up working because that's how they do it now.
It was perfect. It was absolutely perfect. But we're getting into 40 minutes in the podcast. Maybe we start rolling into the new Sick New World. Want to talk about, or do you want to add in a little more of that? You know what? One last thing, I want to talk about too. The Friday 13. I think the one that came out like in 2010 or something like that is really good. Did you ever see that?
I
The Friday
did.
13 one.
I don't remember. I don't remember it, but yeah, I don't remember not. I remember, not liking it. I just remember, oh, it's not that bad.
It came out in 2009 and it showed you how he found his mask. Like they reveal like how he got the mask or something like that. I actually thought it was really good. Did they make one after that? A Friday 13?
I think that was it.
The 09?
I think that was it.
That was it. Okay.
All I know is they had a lot of the movie Scream. I'm not sure if you're a fan of the Scream movies like I am. I like the Scream movies, and they had 2 movies and a TV show. I didn't watch the TV show, but I watched the 2 movies on Paramount. So Paramount Plus, shout out. Not sponsored.
Yeah. Well, did Scream isn't that kind of, don't they have like comedy or something like that involved with the Scream, or something, isn't it?
You're thinking it was a scary movie, which was a parody of the movies.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
No, just so we don't take a lot more time, but yeah, I do like that franchise. I liked it more than I thought I would, but I think it's very interesting. I think it's cool how they kept it alive. It's almost a self-commentary on today's horror movies, especially the last 2 where they're very aware of themselves. So, I mean, if you like meta stuff like that, Joey, go ahead and watch those 2 movies. It's pretty funny.
For the Scream?
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll check those out. And lastly, I just wanted to bring up Halloween, the first one that Rob Zombie did. That was really good.
Okay, I'm glad that I wasn't going to bring it up because I know it's a decisive thing. People either like it or don't like it. I am in the boat that I should do like it. I like Rob Zombie. I like the way he thinks. I like the way he shoots his films. House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil Rejects, Salem's, the 13, stuff like that. And yeah, that movie was really cool. I mean, the horror purists don't like it. I liked it, so what can you do?
Yeah, I'm too naive to be a critic like that, so I don't know. But the one was really good. I didn't really like 2 when he came, the second one, but I liked the first one. I thought the first one was really good. I really enjoyed that one. I mean, with the kid and
Yep.
And the actor who played, Michael Myers. Yeah, that was that I was surprised in how well those movies were done.
Yep.
So yeah, I just wanted to give a shout out to those movies.
Shout out to Rob Zombie.
And shout out to Rob Zombie. Keep making those movies. You're doing a great job. But let's move on to the Sick New World Festival. Now, this is the first time I'm going to be looking at this thing. Okay, I have not seen this. Let's bring it up. You got it up, Josh?
I have it up.
Let me see here. Sick New World. Trying to see if I can. Yeah, this is this doesn't. Was it April 24? This is what's coming up.
Yep, April 27th, 2024, Las Vegas again.
Back in Las Vegas again, huh? Okay. So I am looking at this. I was trying to bring up. I wanted to get like the light because the light shines better with the white. When the other one, like this dark one, this goes dark. But okay. Well, right off the bat, this is the first time I'm looking at this list. Right off the bat, very top, System of a Down. They are the headliners.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I mean, I'm okay with. I mean, that's. I mean, System of a Down. They're the type of band that's like one song after another. It's like I can't tell you how many songs I like from the guys. They have a lot of songs that I like. I mean, they are really. Huh?
Serge Tankian, he a great lyricist. His vocals are, top notch, and the intensity the System of a Down brings has kept even though their span of music has kind of ended on, was in 2005, but they've had some singles out there which I do enjoy as well. Their discography, it's just all the same. They just get better.
I kind of like it. I kind of like how I kind of like the fewer records. You know what I mean? Because I like fewer but great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Instead of having all these records and half of them are just like whatever, I'd rather have less is more. You know what I mean? Like make masterpieces. Only if you do 3 albums your whole career, that's fine, as long as they're all masterpieces, you know? But yeah, System of a Down.
I think it's kind of like how Maiden has a crap load of discography. System of a Down has a few.
And it's cool because it's like, if you're like, say for instance, you're new and you never heard of System of a Down, well, you don't really have to put too much of your time to like, you know, hear all. I mean, there's only like a few records and that you have to deal with, you know. So yeah, so System of a Down. I think the first song from System of a Down I ever heard was Sugar. Yeah.
Mine was their sonic masterpiece, Chop Suey.
That's a great song. I remember the video. I really liked it a lot. And I remember I was working at Round Table Pizza when that thing came out. Yeah, it was a good times. You know, delivering pizzas wasn't so bad actually.
Oh, freedom. And you delivered.
I delivered pizza. It was freedom because you can just go out and listen to music when you're out delivering pizza. So, yep. Okay, so we have System of a Down. Let's move on.
Going by to another like cult. Their cult following, not cult following, a mega following, Slipknot. Their fans are rabid. Slipknot is either you know Slipknot or you don't, and you're either a fan or you're not. Slipknot. All the people I know that like Slipknot are crazy.
Real quick story. My friend Justin Fiera, who played in Jeffrey's fan club. I remember like he worked. I think I talked about this. Worked at Golden Voice, so when I was hanging out with him, we would always be like backstage at Palladium or something like that. I remember one time we were back there, and it was Slipknot was back there, and they were putting their makeup on and all this stuff like that. We were just walking through there, and then we watched them, and then once they were done playing, I remember going to my car at the Palladium, like in the parking lot, and I remember people were jumping on my car. Like there was a lot of people, and they were jumping on the car and stuff, and I was just like, I was just like, these fans are crazy.
No, but they're still crazy, man. Corey Taylor, people love his voice. What can I say?
I love Volume 3. And it's unfortunate that they lost their bass player. It's unfortunate they lost their drummer too, Joey Jordison. Yeah, I mean, shout out to, it's this Joey Jordison. Small little guy too, a little small, short guy, amazing on drums. You know what I mean? And then you have, and then they lost their bass player. You know what I mean? So it's
all different reasons.
Yeah, Paul Gray. Yeah, he's just other than that, and then plus I think there's a couple other members too that have quit the band. So and I think I was actually watching a YouTube video where Corey Taylor was talking about retiring or not doing it because the road is brutal for families. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. For families, it's brutal, and I think he's just getting worn out. And but do these guys ever quit? No. You know what I mean? Just ask Ozzy. These guys never quit. They always say they're going to quit, and then they come back like 2 years later. They take a break. But Slipknot, definitely there. They definitely deserve it. They definitely belong there. I'm happy to see Slipknot there.
Let's go
next down the list here. We got Perfect Circle. I like Tool. I'll tell you one thing about Tool. I never liked their intros. I remember being a kid and then putting on and it's like, dude, their intros are so long. Like there's a long intro. Like, dude, where are we going with this song, dude? You know what I mean? I always think like, oh man, this is like, are we gonna pick up here anytime soon? But I will say this, Maynard, I love his voice. He's got such a great voice. That song he does with the Deftones, I think it's called is it Passengers off of White Pony? God, he's got such a great voice for what they do. I just didn't like the intros of Tool, the long, drawn out intros. But I like the vocals. But as far as Perfect Circle, I'm a little too unfamiliar with them. What about you, Josh? Are you a
No,
little more up
I
to
don't
par
know.
with it? No?
No, I don't know. I've heard some songs, but yeah, I know that a lot of people enjoy Perfect Circle, so I dare not say nothing bad about them.
Well, I'll go ahead and do that thing for you, you know?
All right, let's move along.
Yeah, so Perfect Circle and everything. Then we got Alice in Chains, of course. Now, if Lane Staley was still on, they'd probably be headlining, I think, you know?
Yeah,
But you know, they're on the second tier. So that's fine.
I can't remember what the next one is. Bring the horizon, or what does it say?
You know what? I'll be honest with you. If it's Bring the Horizon, whatever it is, that's horrible marketing. Okay. Anytime you have you can't even read. You can't even read. Can anybody read Bring on?
Unless you know what it says, you can't.
I think you're right. I think it's Bring on the Horizon.
Yeah, unless you know what it says, I
Guys, let me tell you something that's just. I always thought that this is terrible marketing. You know what I mean? You don't want to have stuff that people have a hard time reading, at least in my opinion. Are they? I read this and I'm thinking death metal band, right? Are they a death metal band?
No, far from it.
What is up with this logo? And then they got like I don't know what it is, like a star or pentagram. I don't know what the hell's going on there. Never heard of them. I don't know who they are. Then you got right next to him, you got Danny Elfman.
I was looking at that. I was like, "What the hell, Danny Elfman?"
Danny Elfman. You have Oingo Boingo in there, right next to this name that we can't even pronounce, and he's by himself. So
Danny Elfman. Shout out to Danny Elfman and the Danny Elfman fans.
Yeah, definitely so. There's a lot. He's got a big following. A lot of people like him.
We got Primus.
My girlfriend loves Primus. I never was really a solid Primus guy.
Pork Soda, Jerry Race Car.
Yeah, they're definitely made their mark. They're definitely they're a big band. A lot of people like them. I would say they're more of a cult following though.
They call me Mud. I just that bass, like that. That's such a red bass. I love it.
Yeah, he's one of a kind, that's for sure. And he tried out for Metallica one time, I remember, but obviously he wasn't in the same page as them.
And they also did the South Park intro, so I mean that's where they get all their money. So
give it up for Primus. They're there. They're playing Sick New World, and then we have Slowdive. I have no idea who that is. Slowdive.
You may ask yourself, what kind of podcast are we? We don't know half these bands. You guys, we like the 80s, we like 90s bands. Some of these bands, we'll give them a shot, but I'm familiar with a little bit of Ice Nine Kills, which is on here now, and Motionless in White. These are the kind of like the now bands and the bands. You know what? Some songs I heard, I think they're good. Can I sing? No. Do I know them? No, but I'm familiar with some of these bands here, and yeah, really cool. Like I said, Ice Nine Kills and Motionless in White. I know they have a big following, so really cool for them.
All right, give it up for them. I've never heard of them, but I'll take your word for it. And then we have another band here that I can't even read. I can't read this.
I'm looking at that too. I'm like, I don't know what the hell that says.
Born. I forget. I'm not even gonna. This is worse than the other one.
I'm trying to zoom in. That's the sad part. I'm trying to zoom in to the font here.
Oh my god, dude! This logo. I have to say it, guys. The logo sucks. The logo really sucks. I mean, you got to do a better job with the logo. This is just.
I guess we'll skip that one because I can't even try to pronounce.
I can't even promote your name. I only know. I can't even read it. Okay, so we got Bad Owens.
Omens.
Or is it Omens?
Omens.
The three. Okay, that three. That's an M. Okay.
I wouldn't blame you if you thought that said Owen.
I don't know what these guys are doing. Um, never heard of them. You know anything about them?
I think I've heard a couple of songs just by passing on the radio, but yeah, I can't really say anything about it. But you know what, Joey? We may not knew a lot of these bands, but good for them for being part of this new generation of metalheads.
I'm not knocking them. You know what I mean? I'm just, we're being honest with you. We have our limitations.
Yeah.
It's.
We're not going to pretend. We're not going
to pretend. I have no idea who they are. Swans. I don't know who they are. Black Veil Brides. I think I've heard of them.
Yeah, I know them because that's my cousin's favorite band. So she likes them. It's another band that is kind of heavily into like the kind of, I want to say maybe they changed their look since, but I remember last time I looked at them, they were kind of like dressing up. I don't want to say like they're dressing up like women, but they were like kind of like had that look of Motley Crue, if you know what I mean.
I think I know what you're talking about. I think they play. I thought was that the band that played with Metallica back at the.
I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it. I would not doubt it.
Okay, so we got that one. Wage War. Never heard of them. Have you heard of Wage War?
No.
Spirit Box. Loathe. Never heard of them. Sorry. I'm just gonna have to go through it. If I haven't heard of you, I'm gonna have to just go through it. The Garden. Never heard of The Garden. Duster. I have no idea who they are. Sleep Token. Now, of course, I know Kitty. Kitty's been around for a long time. Aren't they the all-female band?
I believe so.
Now, let me ask you, what is up with this garbage? Seven Dust, great band, and Helmet. Why are they like on the fifth tier on this thing? You got Slow Dive, and you got all these Swans and Wage War, and then you have Seven Dust underneath them? Like, who put this together? Seriously?
I think your boomer is showing now, Joey. They haven't had a good hit in a while.
Seven Dust?
Yeah.
Seven Dust is, I know, but it's like, what does Wage War have, dude? It's going to be better than Seven Dust. You know what I mean? What does Swans have?
A new following, the new bracket of 18 to 24 or 14 to 24 age bracket.
Okay, all right. I give them their due. You know what I mean? But I just don't. I don't.
It's the business. It's the business school in me.
But we're about to get even down to like another band here that I can't believe is like low on this list. But Seven Dust and Helmet, they belong to be at least on the third tier, I would think. We're moving on. We have Vows. I never heard of them. Ginger. Oh my God! Another one of these names I cannot even. I don't know what the heck that is, dude. Slaughter, Drool. No, Drool. I don't know.
Slaughter the Prevail or something like that.
I mean, guys, come on, dude! Stop doing that. What are you doing? I can't read it.
Next,
Ruby
Khan and
Ruby Khan. I don't know who that is. Vane. I don't know who Vane is. Killing Joke has been around forever. I mean, the Metallica does a cover from them. They've been around forever. I completely know who they are. We have Drain. I never heard of them. We have this band who's trying to like do a Sublime type logo. I don't know what that is, dude. It's like these bubbly. God, that logo sucks, dude. That logo is really bad.
This is a boomer trying to figure out. This is our next TikTok. We're trying to figure out what the hell these things are saying.
It's our podcast. We can talk about whatever we want, bro. Like Code Orange.
Well, I am familiar with Code Orange. They do have a couple. They, I think that's the one that has the female lead singer, and she. If I'm right, I'm gonna make sure. Because there's another band I always get confused with them. So just let me check real fast.
Yeah, let's go ahead.
Okay, it is her. Let me see.
Code Orange. Okay.
So I was listening to a song that came out during one of my Spotify things, and I'm like, wow, this is really good. And I don't think it was a girl that was singing it, but I know she's in it. But Yeah, it's a metalcore band, and I knew they were doing stuff for my fellow wrestling fans out there. I think they were doing stuff with some NXT people a couple years ago. That's why I'm familiar with them. But yeah, so they do have their good stripes in there. So I'll
Is
shout out to Code Orange.
Max Portnoy, is that any relation to Mike Portnoy from Dream Theater? I don't know.
All I know is that one pork boy from the bar stool. I don't like him.
All right, Code Orange. You made it on Speak of the Madman. Congratulations. Then we're moving on to see, here's the thing. Lamb of God. Why are they on the 7th tier, dude? Lamb of God is under Sleep Token? I mean, Lamb of God is a well-established band. They've been around for a long time. They got a lot of albums. They got a big following.
They're kind of in the middle, but yeah,
this is almost as bad as that Megadeth situation, dude. I mean, why is Lamb of God? I don't know. I don't know why they're there. They belong to be up there with like Alice in Chains and Danny Elfman area.
Well, it's kind of funny how Lamb of God is below Primus, and you would think Lamb of God is more successful than Primus. And I love Primus. That's funny.
You know what? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. And I'm not going to try to make any more sense of it because it just doesn't make, I don't know what to say about that. It doesn't make sense. Okay. She Passed Away. I never heard of them.
I don't even know what you're looking at now. Where? Oh, okay. I see it.
Left side. She Passed Away. By Nitzer Ebb. Nitzer Ebb. I know who that is.
Frontline Assembly.
Frontline Assembly. I think I might have heard of them. I can't. Have a Nice Life. Okay, Have a Nice Life. All right. Front 242. Okay, Front 242. I definitely have heard of. They've been around for a long time.
Okay.
I don't think I remember their music, but I definitely know the name. VNV Nation. Never heard of them. Lords of Acid.
Dude, that's like, you know what? I'm gonna make fun of this logo because it's like someone just found out what Comic Sans is, and like, let's just do a different.
Oh yeah, Lords of Acid with the stars and all that stuff.
Let's whatever. How can we make our font cool like Comic Sans, but has kind of a cool way? They found that font. They didn't want to pay for it, so it was a free font.
So they were definitely on that wavelength, dude. We have Comic Christ. Never heard of them. Dope. Dayseeker. Knock Loose.
That's a band.
You've heard of them?
Knock Loose. They have a very big following, and one of those kind of like it's like one of the like hard fan base that like you listen to them. You're saying that you like to fight people.
Okay. Well, I definitely won't be. That's not me. So.
Yeah, people who like Knock Loose are the people that purposely drink Bud Light and fight. Those are the...
Really, Bud Light though, with the whole political thing.
Okay, so maybe they drink Coors Light and fight for no reason.
All right, okay. Knock Loose. There they are. Skin Dread. Never heard of them. Fleshwater. What is this, dude? This is another one. E-Teeth, or I don't know what the heck
Steve, that. Maybe it's ST, but that doesn't make sense.
Steve?
No,
Is it Steve?
I don't know.
Terrible logo. Another terrible logo. Taproot. Why is Taproot way down there? Taproot's been around for a long time too.
Because they have one song.
Is that what it is?
They have what? Name another Taproot song that's not. What is it? I can't remember. But it was in all the early 2000 movies.
Hey, I'm not going to argue with you there. Maybe they belong there. They're exactly where the position that they belong. Okay.
No.
Non-point. Okay, Power Man 5000. Okay, I am very familiar with Power Man 5000. That's actually the guitar player from Alien Ant Farm. Um, he went to play for Powerman 5000 for a little while, and then he went back to Alien Ant Farm. I remember that. So, um, yeah, that's what I know about Power. They've been around for shit. They've been around since the new metal era. Powerman 5000. They've been around
Yeah, they had
forever.
that one. They had that song. I had to look it up because it was in the Tony Hawk games. I believe it was called "When Worlds Collide."
Right.
I remember the music video because I was watching. I'm like, this is kind of a weird thing, but it was good.
Oh, we got another one, Paleface or something like that. I don't know.
Ooh.
Another one of these death metal type logos.
That'd be rad. That's a cool name, Paleface.
Paleface is a good name, but it's just a terrible logo. Another terrible logo. Baby Metal.
We talked about them. I am very familiar with Baby Metal. I think they're really good. Like I said, it's 3 Japanese gals.
I remember talking about that from previous podcasts. Yeah,
Yep.
you're right. Okay.
They do a lot of these festivals. So I think it wasn't the first. It's not going to be the last time we're going to see them on these festivals. Really, really cool. I enjoy Baby Metal.
Good. I'm glad to see them on here. They're hitting it up with Static X. Static X, come on, dude. Well, I guess because Wayne Static is no longer with us anymore, they would definitely be up higher. Maybe I don't know who's singing for Static X now. God, let me see who is the singer for Static X. I gotta look this up.
I think that was one of our first podcasts that we talked about Static X.
Yeah, you didn't like his hairdo. You said it was a dumb hairdo. His name is Edsel Dope. Edsel Dope. Where's he from? Oh, he comes from the band Dope. Well, Dope is playing on his list, isn't he?
He's doing double duty, or he's kicked out?
He's doing double duties, man. No, he's still on the band Dope. Main songwriter.
Wow, okay, give it up, man. This guy's gonna be working overtime.
Good job, Zero. What's his name? Moniker is Zero? I don't know. I can't believe Wayne Static is gone, man. I mean, can you even go on further? Here's another one of those bands. Can you even go on further and call yourself Static X without Wayne Static? I don't know.
Okay, next was Incendiary.
Never heard of them?
Super Heaven?
Never.
Was it?
Super Heaven, yeah. Go ahead.
Drop 19s.
Nope.
Trash Talk. Fear Factory?
Oh, Fear Factory, of course. Dino.
Hey.
Guitar player, my friend Joe Sanchez. They're really good friends. They know each other. I've seen him around a couple of times with parties and stuff like that.
Tell him to hook it up with the tickets, bro.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know that well.
I don't know the guy that way. Yeah, exactly. I would never ask him that. But my friend Joe Sanchez, he probably, you know what? He needs to be on this podcast because he probably knows half these bands. So I got to get him on here because he was into the glam in the 80s. He was doing it with the glam stuff. But moving on, Wednesday 13, I've heard of them. Better Lovers, Static Dress, Kim Dracula. That's a cool name.
That's right.
What? How do you?
Early Human?
Garly Human? So I don't know what that is, dude. I don't know what the 6 supposed to be.
6 Early Human. I don't know. Girly Human. Yeah, probably Gnarly Human? Girly Human? I don't know.
Garly Human? I don't know. Again, bad, horrible marketing. Glare.
Yeah, Glare. Nope.
Never heard of that. Quanic.
With 3 N's.
You know what? 2's just not going to be enough. We're going to need 3.
Yep.
Zulu.
I know the demon, not the band.
Angle Zulu.
Fury.
Never heard of him.
I don't even know what this next one says. Podsif.
Another bad logo. There's a lot of bad logos on here. Wow.
Pulfia. I see a P. It's either P or an R. O. B or D. PHIA.
Is there a way? Is this like, what do you call it? Sanskrit? What's that language called, dude?
Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah.
What's her name was studying that? I remember. From school. What's that? Okay.
I can't even see these last ones, and I have it
Okay.
zoomed in.
Gel. I think this is. I'm gonna take a crack at this one. Spy. I think that says spy. I
Yeah.
think.
Okay. Gel and Spy. I think I see Spy.
Okay, spy.
It
God,
could be a band. It could be it could be a band called Spy.
you know
Watch
what?
out! Watch out for them.
Violent Vera. Snow strippers.
I like that. That's a console cool. That's a cool name. Snow Strippers.
That's a cool name. I will give it up to. And you know what? I can read it.
Yep.
Ultra and Sun.
It could be Ultra. It could be Ultra Sun.
I don't know if that's together or not.
I think it's
But,
in this. I think it's yeah, Ultra or Sun. Yep. So
Let me
that's
see.
that's the lineup here, everyone.
Who's got the worst logo? Let me see. Which one pisses me off the most? Which one's the most obnoxious logo?
I don't like the one. I don't like the one that might say Slaughter to Prevail because like I can kind of read it, but I can't. I cannot, and it looks cool though.
You like the way it looks? Okay.
But I don't like how it reads.
I want to probably have to say Spy. That's a terrible look. That's a runner up, or at least
that looks
top
like a
three.
That looks like a spider you squished.
It just looks. I think, why, guys? Why did you go for that, dude? Like, why? It just. I could do a better logo like in 15 minutes right now. Anyways, that's pretty. And this, bring on the Horton or whatever it's called. Bring on the. That's I think that logo.
Okay, I found the one that pissed me off.
Which one's that one?
There's that stupid one that says Lord of Acid.
Lord of Acid.
They're in their free font they got on thefont.com.
Why are you doing that, dude? Can't you just pay somebody like $200 to do your logo, dude? You know what I mean?
Actually, my favorite one is actually Danny Elfman. That's the best logo.
And it kind of looks cool. It looks cool. It's got like this. It's got this like Rick and Morty type of effect to it or something. But there it is, Las Vegas Fiesta Grounds, Saturday, April 27, 2024. Tickets. How much are the tickets? Let's go. Let's go down the ticket. Okay, we're general admission starting at $325. General admission starting at. Well, what's the difference?
That's general admission plus.
General admission plus. Whatever you get with. What do you get with general admission plus? $550. It's got a layaway plan. Got layaway. Do you want to talk about boomer fucking language? There it is, dude. Layaway plan, $19, $19.99 down, $550. What do you get for the plus? Performances all day on multiple stages. Can you imagine listening to all these bands the whole day, dude?
Oh, I get air conditioned restrooms, dedicated entry line to the main entrance.
Okay, bars, concession, official merch, band merch, festival merch, free water stations, and more. Food choices. So you get like food and water. You get the nice bathrooms, and you get like access to like the entrance.
Okay. But VIP has all that plus charging stations, dedicated merch tent.
Dedicated merch tent for festival merch.
Preferred viewing area by the main stage. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So
and $100 more. And then what's VIP Cabana?
The Cabana ultimate roped off viewing area with security, shade, and VIP service. Complimentary 2 bottles, one premium liquor and 1 champagne. Food voucher for all in party. Cabana available for the main stage only.
Dude, you gotta.
Yeah, expedited entry at the main entrance. Okay, charting and then everything else we said earlier. Skip the lines access for general admission merch store, so you get to skip the line.
Now click on that buy tickets, dude, because they don't have the price on here.
Oh, buy tickets. Where's that? Buy now?
Yeah.
Oh, buy tickets. I'm gonna buy the. Okay, yeah, you're right. I see it. I see what you mean.
Look at the price.
Well, price for the VIP Cabana is. What is that? What does that say? 18,000? What is that?
$18,065.
Damn.
That
Well,
can't be right. That can't be right.
I think so, dude.
Is that a typo?
I don't think so. It wouldn't be. It wouldn't. How would it be a typo? It's not going to be 180,000, 180 bucks.
Dude, what metalhead's rolling with 18 grand to fucking freaking spend, dude? You know what I mean?
18,000, dude. That's like you can buy a whole car.
18 grand.
That's why you have layaway.
Can you imagine, dude? Some long-haired dude is like got 18,000 to blow. He's wearing a leather jacket. I mean, who's 18 grand? I mean, if you got that type of money, you're going to be hanging out by yourself probably in here. You know what I mean?
Oh man, you gotta realize that's not even including hotel.
Why anybody on earth spend that much money? Unless it's another band, I don't know who. We got to go in there. I wish I could talk to somebody.
So it says each VIP cabana must be 21 plus. It includes up to 10 VIP tickets.
Oh, okay. That's so you have to buy multiple tickets.
So you have to be a group. So group, divide that by whatever.
Yeah, but it's really hard. Can you imagine having to deal with everybody and having to gather the money for $18,000?
If you're like a millionaire, you don't care, and your favorite band is Primus or Spy or whatever.
And there's going to be a couple of those dudes. You know what I mean? Those guys. There's going to be a couple of those guys who are like they got money. They're rolling up. They're going to be rolling hard.
Yep.
Coming through here, maybe some actors. You know what I mean? Maybe some sports guys.
Definitely.
But yeah, that's why getting the hotel packages, ticket packages, starting at $579. So, yeah, there it is. There's the list. You know what? I think Slipknot, System of a Down, Alice in Chains. I think I like to see Seven Dust. I don't really care to see Helmet too much. I think that's it. I think we're good to go. I think that's all I need to see. I'm sure there's some other bands that are probably good, but
I just closed it, but I'll bring it up just to be part of that conversation. Let me see. For me, let me see. I pulled it up again. So yeah, for me, System of a Down. I wouldn't mind seeing Motionless in White and Black Veil Brides.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. Baby Metal, obviously.
It's really weird to see Danny Elfman right in the midst of Slipknot, System of a Down. It's just like,
dude, he's the most metal guy. What are you talking about?
Really? Okay.
Primus, yeah.
I don't like. I can't see Static X with a new singer. I don't know, man. Wayne Static was just such a mark. He's just so. He was the band. God, I don't know. It'd be really weird to see him with another singer. I guess I would give him a shot, though. That's about it. I mean, System of a Down and Slipknot are really holding this thing together. They're really holding this thing together. All right, that's it. So to let us know in the comment section below what you think about these bands.
You can, hopefully with respect, you can make fun of us. And, you can get mad that we didn't know your favorite band and their hits, but hey, we tried. We're not gonna lie, we tried.
At least you're watching.
Yeah, I was gonna say just thank you guys, thank you everyone for watching. This is Speak of the Mad Matt podcast 19. Remember to like and subscribe here on YouTube, Facebook, and somewhere in the ether that is TikTok. But I am Joshua, he is Joey, and we are out.